Well, hello there, friends. Welcome back to Patty's Porch Picks. I'm Patty, and I am so glad you're here with me today. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions lately from folks just like you and me. Questions like, Patty, what exactly is this artificial intelligence thing everyone keeps talking about? And is it really as complicated as it sounds? Well, I'm here to tell you. It's not as scary or confusing as you might think. In fact, once we break it down together, you're going to see that artificial intelligence is something you might already be using without even realizing it. Today, we're going to have a nice, relaxed chat about what AI really is. No fancy jargon, no technical mumbo-jumbo, just you and me figuring this out together right here on the porch. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Now, before we talk about artificial intelligence, let's think about regular intelligence for just a moment. When we say someone is intelligent, what do we mean? Well, usually we mean they can learn things, they can solve problems, and they can make good decisions based on what they know, right? Think about learning to bake a cake when you were younger. The first time, maybe you followed a recipe exactly. But after baking a few cakes, you started to understand how ingredients work together. You learned that if it's humid outside, you might need a little less liquid. Or if your oven runs hot, you should lower the temperature a bit. That's intelligence. You observed, you learned, you adapted, and you got better results. Now here's the interesting part. What if we could teach a computer to do something similar? Not baking cakes necessarily, but learning from experience and getting better at tasks over time. That's essentially what artificial intelligence is. It's when we create computer programs that can learn, adapt, and make decisions. Kind of like how our own minds work, but in a different way. So let me put this in the simplest way I can. Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is when computers are designed to do tasks that normally require human thinking. Things like recognizing your face in a photo, understanding when you speak to them, or even recommending a movie you might enjoy. Now, I want to be clear about something important. AI isn't a robot with a brain like ours. It doesn't think the way we do. It doesn't have feelings or consciousness. Instead, think of AI as a very, very clever pattern-matching system. It looks at tons and tons of examples, finds patterns in those examples, and then uses those patterns to make predictions or decisions. Let me give you an example you might relate to. Have you ever used the weather app on your phone? That app uses AI. It looks at millions of weather patterns from the past, temperatures, air pressure, humidity, wind patterns, and it uses all that information to predict what the weather will be like tomorrow. It's not magic, it's mathematics and patterns, but it's incredibly useful. Or how about this? Have you ever typed a message on your phone and it suggested the next word you might want to type? That's AI, too. It's learned from millions of examples of how people write, and it's making an educated guess about what you're going to say next. Pretty neat, right? Now, you might be wondering, okay, Patty, but how does it actually do this? How does a computer learn? Great question. Let me explain it with a story. Imagine you're teaching a child to recognize different types of birds. You wouldn't just show them one picture of a robin and expect them to identify every robin they ever see, right? No, you'd show them lots and lots of pictures. This is a robin. See the red breast? This is also a robin. And this one too, even though it's turned a different way. After seeing dozens or hundreds of examples, that child starts to understand what makes a robin a robin. They've learned the pattern. AI works very similarly. Programmers show the AI system thousands or even millions of examples. This is a cat. This is also a cat. This is not a cat. This is a dog. The AI system analyzes all these examples and starts to identify patterns. Oh, I see. Cats tend to have pointy ears, whiskers, and this particular face shape. Dogs have these different characteristics. Then, when you show it a new picture it's never seen before, it can say, based on the patterns I've learned, I think this is a cat. And most of the time, it's right. The more examples it sees, the better it gets. Just like us learning anything new, practice makes perfect. Here's something that might surprise you. You're probably using AI more than you realize. Let's think about some everyday examples. When you ask Alexa or Siri a question, that's AI. Those systems use artificial intelligence to understand your voice, figure out what you're asking, and give you an answer. When Netflix or YouTube suggests videos you might like, that's AI. It's learned what kind of things you enjoy watching and makes recommendations based on patterns in your viewing history. When your email automatically sorts out spam messages, yep, that's AI too. It's learned to recognize patterns in junk mail and keeps your inbox cleaner. Even your smartphone camera uses AI. When you take a photo and it automatically adjusts the lighting or focuses on faces, that's artificial intelligence at work, making you look your best. Or how about GPS navigation? When you use Google Maps or Waze and it tells you the fastest route, accounting for current traffic, that's AI analyzing millions of data points in real time to help you get where you're going. Your car might even have AI. Many newer vehicles have features like automatic emergency braking or lane keeping assistance. Those systems use AI to watch the road and help keep you safe. See? AI isn't some far-off futuristic thing. It's already part of your daily life, quietly working in the background to make things easier and more convenient. Now, with all this talk about how clever AI is, I think it's important to talk about what AI can't do. AI is a tool, a very powerful tool, but it's not magic, and it's definitely not human. AI is excellent at specific tasks it's been trained for. It can recognize images, translate languages, play chess, or predict the weather, but it can only do what it's been designed and trained to do. AI doesn't have common sense the way we do. If you trained an AI to recognize cats in photos, it might identify a cat-shaped pillow as a real cat because it hasn't learned the difference between real animals and objects that just look like them. AI doesn't understand context the same way humans do. It might translate words from Spanish to English perfectly, but miss cultural nuances or idioms that don't translate directly. And here's something really important. AI doesn't have emotions, creativity in the human sense, or consciousness. When an AI creates art or music, it's not feeling inspired. It's following patterns it learned from examples created by real human artists. AI also can't truly think for itself or make moral judgments. It does what it's programmed to do based on its training. That's why humans always need to be involved in important decisions. Think of AI like a really smart calculator. A calculator can do complex math much faster than any human, but it doesn't understand what the numbers mean or why the calculation matters. It just follows the rules it was given. AI is similar, incredibly useful for specific tasks, but it needs human wisdom, judgment, and oversight. So why am I telling you all this? Why does it matter that you understand what AI is? Well, friends, I'll tell you why. First, because AI is becoming more and more common in our daily lives. The better you understand it, the more confidently you can use these helpful tools without feeling intimidated or confused. Second, because understanding AI helps you recognize when something is AI-powered versus when a real human is involved. This is especially important for your safety. When you get a phone call or email, knowing that scammers can now use AI to fake voices or write convincing messages helps you stay alert and protected. Third, because AI can genuinely make your life easier if you know how to use it. Voice assistants can help you set reminders, smart home devices can adjust your thermostat, and health apps can help you track medications or doctor's appointments. But here's the most important reason. Understanding AI helps you feel less left behind in a world that's changing fast. You're not too old to understand this stuff. You're absolutely capable of learning about these technologies, and you deserve to feel confident and informed. When your grandkids talk about ChatGPT or when you see news stories about AI, you can nod along and know what they're talking about. You might even be able to teach them a thing or two. Well, friends, we've covered a lot today, haven't we? We talked about what intelligence means, how AI is like teaching a computer to recognize patterns, where you're already using AI in your daily life, and what AI can and can't do. I hope this conversation helped make artificial intelligence feel a little less mysterious and a lot more approachable. Remember, AI is just a tool, a powerful, helpful tool, but still just a tool created by people to solve problems and make life a bit easier. You don't need to be afraid of it, but you do need to understand it. And now you do. In our next chat, we're going to talk about something really practical: how to spot AI scams that target folks like us, and how to protect yourself. Because knowledge is power, and I want you to be safe out there. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, you're never too old to learn something new. This is Patty signing off from the porch. Take care, friends.